Hi, I'm Lorraine. Welcome to the District Yoga. Today's practice is going to be a hamstring burn. So we're going to kind of get into the hamstrings and we're really just going to jump right into it. It's not going to be like a traditional flow per se. We will flow through some shapes, but we're going to get into the hamstrings and the back of those legs. So go ahead and find yourself on your mat. We're going to start on our backs. So come on to your back. And just find a comfortable position to start out. Maybe that means the soles of the feet come together and the knees just gently open up. Maybe that means you just come to a shavasana with the legs extended long. Find something comfortable to start out. And then just welcome yourself onto your mat. Maybe even letting go of the title of this class and having no expectations. Also, no judgments if you ever need to take a break or if you need to back off. It will be a fairly quick practice, but we will get into the legs and those hamstrings. See if you can start to tune into the breath right away. Take your last few moments, settling in. If not already, go ahead and take a full breath in. Full breath out. Gently blinking the eyes open. Just start to close the knees and hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a small little rock side to side. We're going to come into a happy baby to start out. So grab the soles of the feet. Let the feet come up towards the sky as if you were going to stamp your feet on the ceiling. And then maybe rock your baby side to side. Sometimes this feels good, especially with this being at the beginning of class. Our hips might not be open. In fact, if your baby looked a little bit different, you could grab the inner seams of the feet. You could have a huge bend. You could even bring the feet together if that was your happy baby. Lots of different variations and modifications of this pose. Take your last few breaths, just saying hello. Slight tug in and around not only the hips but the back of the legs here. Take a breath in. Big breath out. Go ahead and plant the feet onto the mat. And right away we're going to start into the hamstrings. So bend that right knee, bring the foot up towards the sky. As the foot comes up to the sky, the hands are going to catch right behind that right thigh. So we're going to start with pointing the toe. And notice that you can have a slight bend in your knee. You don't have to be completely straight. And you could find right anywhere it feels good. You could be higher. You could be about the middle of the back of that thigh, or you could be lower. It might change when we move to the next thing. So we're going to play with bending and straightening this right leg. So first we're going to flex the right toe. So feel the length through the back of that right leg as you flex the toe. So that heel presses up towards the sky and you kind of get long behind that leg. Keep that. We're going to just start to lower the foot down. So keeping the foot flexed. We're just bending the knee now and lowering as if we're tracing that heel down. As you come to the bottom, we're going to start to point the toe and then lift it back up. Again, you don't have to go completely straight, but if you do, awesome. And then once you get to the top, we'll flex again and then lower that foot back down. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit, pointing at the bottom, lifting that foot up, flexing at the top, and lowering that foot down. We're just starting to activate the muscles in and around the back of the leg, flex and lower. Point the toe, lift it back up. Flex and lower. So notice here, my leg is already starting to talk to me. My muscles are starting to activate already. And I'm already starting to feel this in the back of my hamstring. And notice we're just doing something pretty simple, pointing and flexing through the toes. We're going to play with that really throughout this whole class today with the point and flex of the foot. Last couple rounds, find 3. Again, they could be fast, they could be slow. Last 2. Whew. Last one. Go ahead and flex to the toe and lower it back down. Plant the foot down. Maybe give yourself a little windshield wiper side to side. Letting that release. So again, activating through the back of that leg. Plant the right foot. We'll switch sides. So find the pointing of the toes, maybe the extension of the leg. Again, doesn't have to be completely straight. Find the catching of the back of that left thigh here. And let's just jump right in. So flex the toes. Really press that heel up towards the sky, lengthening through the back of that left leg. Keep that. We're flexing the toes. We're going to lower the heel down as we bend the knee. Keep the foot flexed. At the bottom, point the toes. Straighten that leg back up. Flex at the top and lower back down. You might notice maybe the coordination feels a little bit different on this side. That's okay. Just find your own pace, your own rhythm. Pointing as you go up. Flexing as you go down. Flexing down. Point at the bottom and lift that foot up. Beautiful. Find your own. Whew. Talking to you. The back of those legs, the hamstrings. We're just activating through them. And again, a fairly simple technique, tool that we're using here. Just pointing and flexing. Last 3. Beautiful. Last 2. Whew. Last one, point up. Let's flex the foot and lower back down. As you do, plant that left foot down. Maybe windshield wiper the knees side to side. Whew. And then from here, bring the feet wide. Just let the knees knock in towards each other. Give yourself a little bit of a constructive rest. 3 breaths. Maybe notice any sensations happening through the back of those thighs. From here, go ahead and rock your way up, forward and back. We're going to rock up to a standing forward fold at the top of your mat. So find yourself here, forward dive. Find a half flat back. Exhale, bow back in. Let's just stand up, reach up tall. Notice those legs. Hands to the heart space as you breathe out. Just a little touch for the upper body. Reach up. Right hand's going to drop towards the right side. As you do, lean over towards the right. Stay here. Rooted through the feet. Kneecaps lifting up. Side body, find some space. On the inhale, both arms back up. We'll switch sides. Left arm drops. Lean over towards the left. Stay here for a few rounds of breath. Beautiful. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, forward dive back into those legs. Half lift. Plant the hands. Step back to upper push-up. First time today. You're not going to get very many vinyasas. So find this here. Engage through the belly. Shift forward onto the tippy toes. And then lower all the way down. Unravel the toes once you get there. Hands will stay. Let's find your cobra as you lift the chest, lift the heart, elbows squeeze in. Press the feet into the mat. Exhale, lower all the way back down. Press up through plank and then lift the hips. Come into downward facing dog. Breathe here. Beautiful. Let's move on. On the inhale, right leg's going to lift up. Let's go ahead and bend the knee. Open the hip. Maybe roll the ankle out. Stay here. Just a couple moments. Few rounds of breath. Last 3. Beautiful. For 2. On the inhale, right leg's gonna draw long. On the exhale, step that foot forward, drop the back knee. So we're gonna come into half split, straightening that front right leg. And I want you to play, again, with that pointing and flexing of the toes. You could keep the back toes tucked or unraveled, you decide. My hands are right underneath my shoulders, so I'm going to point the toes, and then I'm going to flex through the toes, get long through the back of that leg. Point and flex. Find your own pace. A few rounds just like that, noticing the back of that right leg. Again, finding some space. Last two. Beautiful. Last one. We're going to rebend the knee. Hands are going to come forward, maybe unravel the back toes. And again, we're just going to play with pointing and flexing here. So right now, with our knee bent, our weight kind of shifted forward, that foot is actually flexed. So as we shift back, we're going to point the toe in that half split. Rebend the knee, that's our flexing. Straighten that front leg, pointing. Rebend, come to that low lunge. Half split, point the toe. Rebend, two more. Shift it back. Last one, shift it forward, flex. Point the toes, you shift it back. Beautiful. From here, rebend the knee, plant the hands, tuck the back left toes. We're going to come back to three-leg dog on an inhale. On the exhale, set that foot down, and then set the knees down. Breathe it out. Beautiful. Continuing to play with that. Right leg's going to lift up and long. Go and flex through the toes. You bend the knee as if you're stamping that foot up onto the mat. Again, just playing with this flexion. We're going to actually keep the foot flexed this whole time. So flex through the toes. We're just going to straighten and lengthen. Inhale to lift up. Straighten and lengthen. Inhale. Straighten and lengthen. Last three. Whew. Last two. Again, I called it the hamstring burn, and you definitely will feel the burn. Last two. Last one. Go ahead and bend through the knee. Tuck the back toes and come back to three-leg dog. Point the toes. Set it down. Downward facing dog. Breathe it out. Feel the length on that right side. We'll switch all of that. So left leg's going to draw long. Step the foot through. We're going to drop the back knee first and right away shift the hips back. Come into that half hamunan. Again, first starting out with just pointing and flexing of the toes. So point the toes, staying with the legs straight. Flex the toes. Whew. Feeling that length. Point and flex. Small movements, simple movements, but effective for the purpose of what we're doing. Those hamstrings, finding that length. Last couple rounds for three. Beautiful. Last two. Last one. Point the toe, rebend the knee. Hands are going to come forward. Find that low lunge. Again, here we have a flexed foot as we are shifted a little bit forward as our foot is planted on the mat. We're going to play with that straightening and pointing. As we come to a half split, breathe out, point the toes. Rebend the knee, flexing. Beautiful, straighten that leg, half split. Rebend, just playing with this. Straightening that front leg. Rebend it here. Beautiful, yes. Last one, rebend. Straighten the leg, point the toes. Rebend that knee, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, lift that left leg up, inhale. On the exhale, set it down, set the knees down, tabletop position. Coming back to that, left leg extends long. Flex through the left toes as if you're stamping that left foot onto the ceiling. Take a couple breaths. Again, we're going to play with just straightening. We're going to keep the flexing of the left toes. Keep the foot flexed. Just start to straighten the leg, lengthen it. Bend the knee. Straighten and lengthen. Last few rounds, let's say 5. Beautiful for 4. Keep breathing. Last 3. Last 2. Last one. Straighten the leg. Rebend the knee. Tuck the right toes. Lift back up. 3-leg dog. Left leg long. Set it down. Downward facing dog. Whew. Press the heart back. Step hopper jump at top of the mat. Half lift. Fold in. This should feel good. Stand up. Reach up tall. Right hand drops, lean over towards the right. Inhale, lift. Left hand drops, lean left. Reach up. Forward dive back into those legs. Half lift, inhale. Just fold back in. We're going to move on. Bend the knees. Shift the weight into the heels. Find your chair pose, Utkatasana. And then settle into this chair. Weight shifted into the heels. You should be able to see your toes. If you can't, just slightly shift the shins back. Feel the backs of the thighs work. Settle in. And we're going to add a little bit to this. So from this chair, stay in it. We're going to do a slow sweep back. So for a count of 8, we're going to sweep our arms back. Just lift up on the inhale. And then for 8, sweep the arms back. For 7, again, no rush. 6, feel the legs work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to chair pose. Massive inhale. Forward fold. Get out of that. Whew. Half flat back. Plant the hands. Step hopper, float it. You could just step back to down dog. Inhale, shine your heart if you took a vinyasa. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Breathe it here. Right leg's going to lift up long. Step that right foot forward. Ball of the back toes this time. Hands will stay low. In fact, if you had blocks, I don't have 2 today, but if you had blocks, you might want blocks underneath both hands. I'm going to probably do it without blocks. You don't absolutely need them. Find that low lunge, a big bend through that knee. And then maybe drop the hips a little bit, shine the heart forward. Straighten that front leg as you fold into that right leg. Doesn't have to be completely straight, just lengthening back. We're going to flow that, maybe pulse it a couple times through. Rebend the knee, chest forward, inhale. Exhale, straighten that front leg, breathe it out. Rebend it here, inhale. Exhale it back. Last 2, rebend. Straighten it out. Beautiful, rebend it here. Straighten that out. Woo. Rebend. Come back to the low lunge. Hands about a foot in front. Lift into a standing split. Oh, goodness. We're definitely cooking this right leg. Stay with me. Breathe into that bottom leg, that foundation. Again, you could have a block underneath the hands if you ever wanted it. Always an option to modify with the block. We're going to stay here a couple moments. So using the block or not, hands are going to stay low. Toes are going to stay reaching. I want you to find circles in any direction. You could be small circles or big circles. Just find circles behind you for 5. Beautiful for 4. 3, 2. We're going to go the opposite direction. So find the opposite way. If you're going right, go left. Oh my goodness, this bottom leg working. Last 3, 2, and 1. Toes reach back up. Inhale. Beautiful forward fold. Exhale, wide feet. You could be wider than the hips. Bend the knees. Hang heavy. Half lift. Fold back in. Stand up, root to rise, grow tall. Bring the hands to the heart space. I just want you to take some time to notice the right side. Maybe a little gentle fatigue through that back of the right thigh. Notice, be aware. On the inhale, reach up. On the exhale, forward fold. Half lift, breathe in. Bow back in. We're going to get that chair one more time. If you want to bring the feet closer together, you can. Bend the knees. Come into chair pose. And remember, we're sweeping back for a count of 8. So it's slow as you exhale. 8, 7. You're still in your chair. 6, 5. Yes, I can. 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Whew. Half lift. Hands to your mat. Step, hop, or float it. Find a vinyasa. Inhale, shine your heart up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come back in, breathe it out. One last thing here. Last side. Left leg draws long. Step it through. Ball of the back toes. Again, if you wanted the blocks, you could have them underneath your hands. Otherwise, just come to the fingertips. You don't have to have them at all. You decide, you find the modifications for your practice. I probably would use them if I had to, but I don't today. So bend through that left knee, lower the hips, maybe shine the heart forward. Straighten that front leg, maybe to your degree. Rebend the knee, drop the hips, inhale. Straighten that front leg as you breathe out. That's 2. We got 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, straighten it out. Rebend it, inhale, just getting into the left side. Exhale to straighten. Last one, rebend. Exhale, straighten it out. Whew. Rebend it here. Hands about a foot in front. Again, if you want the block, take it with you as you come into a standing split, standing L. You decide, let the head hang super heavy. Breathe it, breathe it. And then again, with that leg strong, bottom leg strong, we're going to find circles in any direction to start. Find them. They could be big, they could be small, just circling that right leg as you fold in. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. To opposite direction, find it. If you were going right, you go left. If you were going left, you go right. Whew. Bottom leg working. Last 3, 2, 1. Toes reach. Inhale. Forward fold. Bend those knees real big. Half glance. Fold back in. Inhale, stand up, reach it up. Hands to the heart space. Maybe just notice both sides here. The length that you've created through the back body, especially those back thighs. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, forward fold, dive out. Half lift, inhale. Plant the hands, find your last vinyasa to lower slow. Inhale. Downward facing dog, come back in. Find your last bit of stretch for the backs of these legs, the back of the body. Press the chest back. Set the knees down. Scoot the legs off to the side and grab your myofascial balls. We're going to give the hamstrings a little love with these balls. And in fact, I'm probably going to just sit on my blanket. If you had a blanket, you could grab it. If you didn't, no problem. We're going to bring the feet a little wide. So a nice straddle, but not super wide. It's not your deepest straddle by any means. And we're going to place the balls right underneath each hamstring. So no particular place. They could be in the upper, middle, or back side of your hamstrings. Actually, let's start on the back side. So find a place kind of toward your glutes. It's probably going to be the most intense part of the hamstrings. And then I'm going to give you a couple options. Option 1 is just going to be to stay. Option 2, you can lean forward. That just adds a little bit more intensity, a little more pressure to the balls. Option, I'm going to say 1.5, to alleviate some of that tension. You could go that way to the back. Option 3, I'm going to give you the option to add movement. And you can use both feet at the same time to windshield wiper left to right. And we just kind of come into a cross fibering of the tissues of the hamstrings. Find 5 rounds of breath. As I've mentioned before, myofascial release is very experiential. So what you are feeling is likely a little different from what I'm feeling, especially from side to side. So whether you're in option 1, 2, or 3, take your last couple breaths. Beautiful, massive inhale. Maybe find some stillness. Exhale, let those balls sink back in. We're going to move about halfway up. So, about a third of the way up, because we're going to be at about halfway with our hamstrings. So we're probably a couple inches from the backs of the knees. And again, same options. You could stay upright. If you wanted a little bit more, again, as we move forward, you're going to alleviate some of the sensation. So not necessarily trying to chase sensation. There's no need to always have sensation when doing this type of practice. In fact, just sitting and letting that ball melt in with your breath is just enough. But if you wanted to lean forward, you could. If you wanted to alleviate, you could lean back. If you wanted movement, again, you could do one leg at a time and maybe add a little more movement, hovering that foot, swaying it side to side, or doing the opposite there. Just starting to give those tissues a little massage, a little hydration. I'm going to stay. That's what's calling my name here. Last 5. Take a huge inhale. Let that go. We're going to move up one last time, and this will be our last thing with the balls. Again, moving up about a third of the way. I want you to notice that you are not in the back of the knee. You are just slightly behind it. So find that. Again, this one's going to be probably a lot less intense than both of the ones we were just at. If you wanted to, you could add a block to it. I often feel like it's a little too high for me to even reach the balls. So if you had a half block, that might be a little bit better, but just sitting on your bum and then you can lean back. You could be upright. You could probably even lean a little bit more forward, kind of more of a forward fold sensation. Although, again, we're not necessarily chasing sensation by any means. Stay here, breathe. Again, if you wanted movement, you could. One leg at a time, you could. I'm just going to rest here. Just breathe. Ultimately, just creating some circulation in and around the place we just worked. Allowing the tissues to rehydrate after the work we just did. Take one more huge breath in. Exhale that out. Slowly remove the balls and make your way onto your back. We'll just have a brief shavasana here. And in fact, if you did have a block, maybe bring the block to its middle setting and let the ankles rest there so that the feet are slightly elevated. If you had 2 blocks, again, that might be a little bit better to rest one ankle on each. And then just come into your shavasana. Maybe notice any sensations that are happening in the backs of the legs. Maybe some gratitude for these very important muscles. I welcome you to stay with that one. Stay as long as you need. And I just want to say thank you, as always, for showing up and sharing your energy. Namaste.